Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 155 of the Terminus podcast. I am your dispatcher, Ellis, otherwise known as the Admiral. With me, I have my three firemen, Nick Wakefield, TJ Sacosio, and Jared Cole. Welcome back, guys. Got a three fireman podcast. Our brakeman this week is Kevon Bradford. It's been a while since we've had you on the show, but of course you're a fixture in our lives.
Yes. I am just dead inside, so that's why.
Well, ain't we all?
Ain't we all?
Yeah, no, I wanted some sort of reaction to that. Anyway, I've got something that'll give people a reaction when we hit the next section, but until we do, the train will terminate at this station.
I was still getting water. I was getting water still, but I'm back now.
Okay, well, good timing. We're in the show. We are... I'm not really sure. I guess we're on the B&O Kingwood branch? Whoever wants to do the introduction.
Not it. TJ.
Where are we?
We're
The
on the
B&O
B&O
Kingwood
Kingwood
branch.
branch.
Okay, we're on the Kingwood branch. Somewhere, in some case.
You know, I really kind of want to leave that entire section in from when Achilles gets back from getting water. I feel like that would be worth it. Be like the worst cold open ever. Even though it's not a cold open, whatever. We've got the Class 1 mantle responsibility. Let's talk about some train wrecks. And other
things.
Yeah. On the docket, we've got, let's see, 1 from BNSF, 2 from Canadian National, 1 from Canadian Pacific, 1 from CSX, and 1,
9.
2, 3, 4,
9.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 accidents from Union Pacific.
Oh.
No, just kidding, it's 9. I wanted to mess with you.
Wait, just
Yeah.
one for BNSF? I thought BNSF also did the thing with the bridge. There was a double stack train that
That was UP.
I thought it was
Always has
BNSF.
been. Yeah, so, starting off, actually, let's start with Union Pacific, 'cause, well, no, you know what, screw it, we'll do them last. CSX had the first one chronologically that wasn't Union Pacific. This was a bus that got hit by a CSX train after it was stuck on the tracks. It got stuck in the snow. The driver was able to evacuate all the passengers before the train hit, and the train hit very slowly. It was actually kind of funny. Everyone bails off the bus is stopped on the train tracks, and you see the bus driver get out, and he's like waving at the train, like trying to get their attention, and obviously they see the bus anyway, but he's like trying to get them to stop, and the train is like just slowly gonna crash into the bus. Trains don't stop on a dime. BNSF had one the following day. This was in Crookston. We've got just 2 videos on it, so I'm not going to pull them up. One at night, one during the day, because the accident happened at night. It was 9 cars of a 14-car train, so presumably a local of some kind. Then a few days later, on February 14th, Canadian Pacific derailed. Now, this is unfortunate because they were the holder of the Class 1 mantle responsibility, but they derailed 25 cars near the Alberta-British Columbia border. Fully loaded with potash. They were involved in derailment just east of the border on Friday. Mounties were some of the first responders, because of course they were. This is Canada. No injuries, but some cars sliding down the embankment. Yeah. I don't know, nothing really special, just a mess. It's really kind of awful looking because of the potash everywhere in the white snow. I don't know. So I don't know why we're still staring at the loading screen for Train Simulator. I don't know if it's stuck like this or what. Anyway. Or did I, accidentally pause it? Did I pause it? No, I didn't pause it. Oh, and now it changed. It changed to something else. I don't know if it's loading or what. I don't know what we're looking at over there. Whatever. This is not a visual podcast, mostly. The following day, Canadian National also wrecked. This was in West Chicago, actually.
Get wrecked.
No one was injured after a freight train derailment in West Chicago, Illinois. Derailed around 8 a.m. at an intersection with Metra and UPW tracks. Or, sorry. It was an intersection with the UPW line. I suppose that's Union Pacific West. Multiple cars derailed, no injuries, not carrying anything hazardous. Union Pacific West trains were being terminated at West Chicago, and a shuttle bus would shuttle customers between Geneva and West Chicago. So that's unfortunate.
I actually heard about this one. It was, it's by the interlocking, and, there's a tower there. Or not an interlocking, a diamond. And there's a neat tower out there. I want to go out there one day. Don't let the name West Chicago fool you. It's actually 2 hours away.
Chicago's not known for being a small city, so I can believe that.
Literally, don't let it fool you. It's nowhere near Chicago.
We also had another CN incident, I guess you'd call it. This was in Edmonton. A train clipped the back of a semi-trailer, which was carrying a load of vehicles, and it was stopped partly on the track, so really nothing to write home about there, just kind of a little, giving it a little nudge. Okay, and now for the doozy. Starting Union Pacific,
Okay.
right? Who just joined?
TJ, he left and rejoined.
Oh.
Yeah, my audio went.
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't miss much. We're about to hit the Oh, let's roll this ball. Union Pacific.
Hit a slew of UP derailments.
Yeah, so there was a train in El Centro that came off the track. Then we got a report of it getting put back on. It was an oil train, actually. There was a derailment on Tehachapi, which I'm sure most of us have heard about. So the first one was on February 3rd. This one was on February 7th. This was at Marcel. Tehachapi, basically.
Tehachapi, yeah.
Yeah. There was a train derailment in Clinton that was actually on February 5th, which I can't actually tell what that was. Tank cars, it looks like. Tipped over. There was another one on the 11th, which was a train hitting a semi-truck, and spilled crude oil in Ault, A-U-L-T. I don't know where that is. It's near Denver, apparently. Then we had Oh, right. The one after that, so the first one marked February 13th, 2021. I have to give, a content advisory warning on that, because it's a little gruesome. A woman got, I believe it was an arm and a leg, possibly two, chopped off by the train because it hit her. And there's
How
footage.
did that happen?
So
Was she on the tracks or?
yeah. I don't know many of the details. I am not the person that's going to watch that and be like, ooh ah.
Yeah.
I had to
I
turn
think
it
she's on the
off.
tracks.
But yeah, advisory warning on that one.
I thought maybe there would be a explanation
I don't know.
or something below it.
There was also a derailment in Normal, Illinois. This was on February 13th.
It's pretty abnormal. All right, I'll give
Wait,
myself
literally,
the
there's
first
a
break.
Normal, Illinois?
Yes.
Yeah,
Where is this?
it's Chicago
It's
Metro.
yeah. The northbound Texas Eagle, due to arrive in Chicago, will detour between St. Louis and Chicago, missing 7 intermediate stops. Oof. So yeah, that's derailment news. This article actually has 2 more things, including the potash and the NS site, which we'll probably touch on later. Then on the 14th...
It was the train that derailed.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say the train that derailed was a Z, so it was from Chicago down to Texas.
Didn't
So
make it
pretty
very
much
far.
follows the. Didn't make it very far, and it follows that the Texas Eagles route pretty much directly. It pretty much is the Texas Eagles route.
Gotcha.
So
I can
yeah.
see why that'd be a problem for the Texas Eagle.
Damn.
The thing is, they're only doing tri-weekly service, so it doesn't really matter. They just kind of did it the day they were running.
Yeah. State Highway 135 near the intersection of County Road. Blah, 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 blah. There was another derailment. This was on the 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. The roadway's blocked.
I'm getting to your date now.
Another train just south of downtown Fort Worth derailed. Winter and freezing temperatures may have played a role. It was mixed freight, no hazardous materials. 8 cars derailed. 3 of them overturned. And it was under a bridge. I feel like we've had an accident here before. But I don't know. So, the last one is that 28 cars derailed in Millard County. This was cargo including flammable
In
liquid.
Utah.
This was Utah, as Julie's just mentioned.
Yeah, woohoo.
Yay. Yeah, so it happened around 4:30
They
p.m.
derailed.
Go ahead.
My guess is they picked a switch, considering they derailed right on a siding.
Mm-hmm.
They derailed on cruise siding down on the Caliente sub, which is like way wicked south. And yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure they just picked a switch and derailed because the switch is like right there.
Well, 28 cars is a lot for a picked switch, but hey.
Well, not if you're doing 55.
Yeah.
Cut through the switch and you pick it. And
Well, that's pretty intense. That's probably the most spectacular derailment of the period, of the last 2 weeks, but I mean, really, it's not like anything super interesting happened. There were no explosions or fireballs or, like, collisions even. Out of all those wrecks, all I got was disappointment. Anyway. That covers the class 1 mental responsibility, except...
yeah.
Except...
Disappointing.
There's one thing that we need to touch on. Also, I think something... My CPU usage is just pegged at 100, which I think is causing major delays for me hearing people on Discord. I don't understand what's going on here. But anyway, it has to do with... Part of it has to do with...
Oh, should I just... Oops.
Check to see if there's a Windows update.
I'm on Windows 7. So,
Right.
there's not. No, so... The Canadian Pacific Railroad was the previous holder of the Class 1 Mental Responsibility. Now they are no longer the holder of the Class 1 Mental Responsibility. That falls, unsurprisingly, back to Kansas City Southern.
Great. They're never going to derail.
Yeah. They don't ever derail, they
Isn't
just
that a
hit
good
people.
thing?
And they don't run. They don't have trains.
They don't exist.
I was about to say that.
It's true. Alright, but, so that's what the Class 1s have been doing the past couple of weeks. What about you guys?
So I had a pretty big day yesterday, and it was pretty cool. So we like to do meetups every once in a while, the local Utah formers, and there's quite a few of us, believe it or not. So,
I hope you guys were social distancing.
You can see in the picture that they were not.
They weren't. Which is not a very not a thing to be proud of.
Gina
but
Raimondo says, knock it off.
Gina Raimondo says, I'll get Goldman Sachs to buy your house. You keep doing that.
So, yesterday we had a big meetup. It was called EchoFest, 2021 EchoFest. Because can you guess where we met up?
Edmonton.
Weber Canyon.
TBA gets the cake. TBA gets the cake with Echo.
Yay, cake!
So
I
if
couldn't get
if
that.
I share my screen, will you watch it? Because there's a few videos that I want to show off of the stuff I saw.
If you send pictures, I
Damn, I
can
didn't
show
know
them.
we had multimedia in this podcast now.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't watch my stream?
No, because I can't pull Discord over to.
Oh, I don't have any pictures. Damn.
Well, we have at least one.
But basically, we began the day at 7, chase trains all day. The highlight of the chase was chasing the Stadler.
Well, Julius, I don't mean to cut you off, but go through those videos and cut the pictures out.
Yeah, just screenshot videos.
Just screenshot the videos.
Okay. Just a minute. I can get one of my friends' photos in a second.
Hold on. I'll get the photo.
If you
Don't
guys,
worry.
if you guys,
No, I got
if
it.
you guys hear construction, I apologize. They're doing renovations downstairs.
So we chased.
That's cool.
This was kind of the highlight chase of the day.
That's
this
so
was
cool.
Union Pacific's MOG GR Manifest from Ogden to Green River, and it carried a full train set of Stadler. I believe those are KISS sets, double-decker KISS sets, going out to Pueblo, to TDCI in Pueblo, to be tested at higher speeds, because the only testing they've really done is about 500 feet back and forth on a little stretch of electrified line in Stadler, which I actually found out is actually produced Stadler. It's pronounced Stadler, not Stadler.
Huh.
So these were going out to Pueblo to be tested, and it was also kind of a nice touch that there was a CSX unit second. That was kind of cool. And here's the better photo of the whole train. And yeah, that was pretty cool. We also took a group photo in front of the explosion unit,
Yeah.
which unfortunately that group photo kind of got a little bit too much publicity, so it's no longer a public photo. But
Well, it's
Why
kind
did
of
it get
it's
too much publicity.
because it's chaotic. So here's the I can't send that one. JK, hold on. Here is the explosion locomotive. We saw that sitting at Evanston. We took the photo in front of that one. Here's a bit more of a closer look at the damage on the exploded unit, and I found out what actually happened with that unit, like a very detailed description. And basically, as the locomotive was second out on a manifest climbing the grade, the engine went runaway, and so it just kept going and going and going and was producing so much heat that the coolant eventually was the water coolant that is used in those locomotives was turning to steam, and it was going so fast and it was so hot the water didn't have time to condense back down into liquid state before it got recycled into the locomotive. And as more water is being added and is turning to steam, the pressure is building and building and building, and then eventually it went kaboom. When it could cut through the inch-thick steel pipes, they went kaboom, and that's how you ended up with this.
it's amazing that Union Pacific really they were so loath to give up steam that even in 2021 they're suffering boiler explosions.
And also, the reason why it's still there is because the locomotive was blasted. The radiator section of the locomotive was blasted so large and so high up that it just literally did not have a time to evaporate. Or not evaporate. What? It literally didn't have time. There's no room to fit through the tunnels. And I'm trying to find the photo where
no, wait a minute.
it was about. I'm trying to find the photo where I look at the scale of the actual incident.
They need to
Or
get the
incident? What the hell?
hydraulic press out here to smush it back down into shape so they
Okay,
can
here we
drive
go.
it out
Here's
of
the
there.
photo. I gotta copy this. Just a second.
So you'll know that what was it? Great cover that got shot up into space.
Yeah.
Oh
Look
yeah,
up
I've heard of that.
A piece of a Gevo currently in space off of this thing.
So there's my friend and I for scale. next to the locomotive. I am on the right with the black jacket, and I am in the black mask, and I am 6'2".
Homer.
So that's context for how absolutely high this thing was. And it was effing massive.
Yeah, it looked rough from this angle, but from this angle you can see that it's like an extra 3 feet at least above the height of the cab, probably more.
Well, also, I want to point out the fact that if you look at the photo where the actual damage is, that little blank spot, like the close-up photo of the damage, which is the fourth one I sent. Sorry, you can see there's a spot in that reflective tape. That was a handrail stanchion welded to the frame.
Oh, right here. Yeah, it's just gone.
Yeah, it's gone. There's no like handrails sitting off. There's no twisted metal handrails sitting. There's just no handrails. The handrails were blasted clean off. That is flat. That is flat. Those handrails were blasted off. And also, if you look just to the right of that, that is steel. That is like 5, 6, 7 inch thick steel for the frame. And it was bent and literally cut through at an angle. So something had blasted its way out of about the top up there and blasted its way down and cut and bent several inch thick steel of a frame.
That's brutal.
You know what I wish more than anything right now? I wish that we had like video of this with audio. Like I want to hear the sound this thing made.
Dude, right?
Question. Do you know if this was the trailing unit or not?
It was. It was the trailing unit.
Dang it, because I was going to say, they could have got cab cameras and saw it from there, but I mean, they probably also wouldn't release it.
Yeah, and the engineer is now deaf.
But the cab and everything was fine. So, like, even if it was the lead unit, they, like, probably would have been fine.
Yeah.
Just maybe deaf and a little bit scared.
Yeah, and requiring a new change of pants.
I don't know if it was deaf. I mean, it couldn't have been, like, that loud. I mean, sure, it's going to be loud. It's going to be loud, but it's not going to be like... it's not going to be like a bomb.
And so yesterday there were 28 people who were on the line today. And they all were pretty much out there for that Stadler train. Mm-hmm. So that crew was just getting armadas and hordes of foamers from probably... from the second it left in Uinta all the way to Evanston, it was just people everywhere.
So the West Coast foamers got Stadler, the East Coast foamers got the CSX.
Oh,
units.
God. We have to talk about that in a bit. We have to
talk
about
guys,
that.
This is what actually happened. This is what actually happened, guys.
What?
Oh, my God. Who did that? Shame on you.
No, this is amazing. This is the best thing I've ever seen. Look at this.
That's actually great.
I like how the picture has too much chaotic energy, it's not public anymore. But the version with the Enterprise photoshopped in, we can share that one.
I can't see the point. It's not. It is the group photo on the Utah Rail Enthusiasts Facebook page, so I guess that's probably not public. The original is probably not public, but...
Yo, Julius, is your dad right there in the picture?
Yeah, that's my dad.
Hey, I see your dad, bro.
Also, the two people brought their girlfriends.
Simps.
Well,
one of them is into trains. The other was just like, I'm just here I don't know what's going on. I'm just here to be supportive.
You know what else is a train with chaotic order?
No.
Alright, Julius, I'm going to take a guess at which one likes the trains, and it's probably the dude that you're standing next to.
Yeah.
The other one, the far right lady, probably is just like, I'm just here to be because... I'm just here because my man's here.
My man's... Alright, we'll show this for
Ron, that's almost as ugly as you.
Okay, so, well... we
need to... What the hell is
right
this?
now?
Is this Photoshop, or is this...
No, this is not Photoshop. So... We were currently... Okay, so what happened is the FL9s came in,
Boo!
and everyone's like, oh, okay, the FL9s are here, we're going to repaint them. So, they also decided to repaint the GP9 or our GP7 at the same time, because it would save money. But, they had to take it out every single day that it ran. So, like, it would be half done every weekend. So that was it when Micah finally took off the primer and was doing all that. So he spray canned $21.99 on it because, I mean, what else are you supposed to do? And then that's what it looked like before they actually finished the paint job.
I love this.
So most of it's in primer, which is kind of neat. I kind of like it like that.
Oh my god. I love this incredible, beautiful photograph of the train and the clouds and the light shining through and this engine that looks like it's just covered in bird crap. Like,
this terrible paint job.
Hey, I mean, we finished the paint. It looks nice now. It matches the FL9.
Okay, see that like the very last picture you put, that looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Looks real good.
Well, yeah, because it's done. They had to run it every single weekend.
yeah,
But,
I mean,
like,
Because
this pink, it's like, yikes, bro. That's a yikes for me.
yeah.
It looks like it's just been sitting around.
it's
Well, it has, and then we didn't repair it, so there's just an oil splotch on the side of it. So it's like, okay, it got repainted, but now it is a mess again. Oh well.
I mean, that's what happens, though, isn't it?
Kivani
Yeah,
said, oh,
but like, I don't know. Also, here's a picture that will make Ellis sad.
Is it FL9's?
Also from Grapevine. Yes.
That does make me sad.
ooh.
They
One
belong,
painted, one unpainted.
They belong in McGinnis, goddammit. The only good
Hey,
thing...
okay, so
McGinnis
I don't
ever
understand Grapevine. We've become a commuter railroad. We have FL9s and we have C-Dot SPVs.
Now you are directly
We're
competing
East
with Texrail.
Coast. Exactly. So we're like, oh, if Texrail ever dies sometimes, we can just use our equipment.
Oh my god.
No, you're literally recreating the Metro North, except in Texas.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. But I mean, when you buy passenger cars for $1,000, I mean, you can't complain.
Yeah. I gotcha.
And I think the FL9s were 54 for both.
They went for decent prices at auction.
Okay, then maybe 54 each.
See-
These were the cheaper side, because
Yeah.
Grapevine's cheap.
CT Dot was like, well, we have to get rid of these, but we don't really want to get rid of these. Because CT Dot is a bunch of foamers.
Well, they should have been like, oh yeah, you know, Amtrak, you don't need to rebuild those P-42s. We have things with doors right here.
Isn't that what they did for a little while?
Yes. No. What they did instead was put a cab car in front of the P-42,
Oh, okay. Well,
and the engineers were putting that.
I know for a little while, not maybe that previous incident, but maybe the one before it, they did just steal FL9s for that purpose.
Bless me.
Bless you, goddammit. Demand me blessing you?
Nah, bro.
You better fucking bless me, this goddammit.
I've actually got not much.
Curse you, Julie.
I've cursed you, yeah. I have done a little bit in regard to horseman riding and planning and stuff like that. Not anything
Heck yeah,
I can
we
really
have.
share.
Heck yeah, we have.
Yeah, no, it's been good. It's been good. I'm glad to get back to it. I'm hoping to do another little writing session tomorrow evening. But
Bet.
hey, I'd really like to. Otherwise, I don't know. I haven't really done much with trains. Can't remember, something did cross my mind, but
Oh, I actually have some model stuff to talk about too.
like what?
So I also got home from yesterday's events to 2 soundboards and 2 Lock Sound 5 decoders. So those two decoder buddies. I got that decoder buddy. Yeah. So I guess I should probably hold on. I'm gonna get a new image. I gotta rotate this image. Just a second. Because sometimes my iPhone is dumb and takes them weird and rotated. But decoder buddy. There's context here, and I'm not gonna give it. So, all right, now it's fixed. Just a moment, and there we go. So,
Look at that
I got
brand
these-
decoder buddy there, bud.
I got the decoder buddies here, and basically, they're for two locomotives. They're for an SD75M, a BNSF SD75M. That's the bottom one. That's what that was for. And then the top one is for the Jibo that's currently sitting on my desk, about 1.5 feet in front of me. That is going to be installed DCC while I'm doing nothing during Locomotive Versus.
Bruh.
And so,
Someone.
yeah, that's that.
Someone
Well,
should make
be
a
careful
functioning
with those-
version of the exploded unit.
What do you mean?
Alright, someone should just make a model of the exploded engine that drives around.
Fun fact: they can't actually move that unit.
I told them
because
yeah. I forgot to tell them
up by
that.
tunnels.
Yeah, it's so tall that it won't fit through any of the tunnels, and there's tunnels either way, so they can't move it.
So they're just gonna scrap it?
Yeah,
Right there on the
Wait, they
spot.
scrap
can't-
it on
they
site,
can't-
yeah.
I doubt they're gonna scrap it on site. What they're probably gonna do is go out there with a cutting crew, like with blowtorches, chop off the stuff that's blown up over height, and then move it.
Or like I said,
Like,
just
that's-
get the hydraulic press out there and just smoosh it back down.
I guess.
Good for 70. That's
Yeah.
all that matters.
You just get your whole radiator flapping in the wind.
That would be some pretty thick wind resistance.
I just realized, since the last time I've been on, I bought like an exponential amount of
Q2s.
model
Thousands of
trains and then
dollars
stopped
for
buying
models?
them altogether.
Why?
Because I bought too many trains and now I gotta play with them all.
So aboard the steam train.
Also, I'm scared because pre-orders. I have 5 F40s on pre-order from Rapido.
Jesus.
I
What
still
are
need to
they?
get some cases of these.
3 ski trains, so I have the complete ski train set. Phase 3 with ditch lights, and then an AMT, which is currently running on TRE.
Okay.
Yeah, I also have the Rapido turbo liners. Rapido has my wallet on lock. It's awful. I want to die.
Scale Trains is gonna have my wallet on lock.
For what? What are you buying?
I don't know. Like once I get my
What?
Metra stuff, I'm probably gonna start getting Jivos on stacks.
Oh, really? You're gonna model
Yes!
mine? Let's fucking go.
Ooh, you can get Scale Train 765 when that comes out. Whenever it
They're
comes back to
making Jivos.
Chicago.
I want to get Jivos on stacks and hauls empties east and empties west.
That's
Jesus.
honestly, that is very financially okay because buying containers is expensive
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
containers are
$10
expensive as hell.
per
It's like
container.
no, it's not that much, but
It's like $7 to $10.
You gotta
it's not cheap for containers though.
You gotta
Tec-
just get a 3D printer and
Technically-
3D print containers.
Technically,
No.
it would be empties clockwise, empties counterclockwise.
Decoder buddy.
They're
Sorry.
turning left.
They're making a left turn.
Oh my god.
All right. God, that's kind of all I haven't really done anything. I saw the CS train yesterday. That was cool. Went to Indiana yesterday just to kind of get out of the house. So that's another state that I've been to. That was cool.
Oh, yeah, I guess there we
I don't
go.
even have any like CTA news. Nothing.
Did you go to Gary?
Nothing really. Yeah. Saw
Yeah.
this
I just
email.
realized.
What a wonderful
I just
place.
realized a club member of mine has coal.
That's not cool.
Isn't he 5771?
No, 5640 wearing 4-stripe freight.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Destroyed by facts and logic.
I'm pretty sure that's the one at the 5771. Isn't that the one at the CRRM?
No, that's the one at the Royal Gorge.
Oh, okay.
Or is that the same thing?
Either
No,
way,
it's not the same thing.
coal or not, that's a very nice lash up of EMD power right there.
Also, that's a lot of domes.
Oh,
Well, that's the
Dome-
California Zephyr.
dome-
That's the normal California Zephyr, isn't it? Just nothing but domes.
I don't know.
That's all everyone wants.
Zephyr.
I mean, everyone does love a dome anyway. I guess early Amtrak.
Also,
Yeah.
I feel bad. So, I went train chasing. Me and a friend. There was 2 CN-8s on a train, and then all of a sudden, some guy decided to sell his collection on Facebook for like $200 DCC sound for these Rapidos, and they go for like $300 to $500 depending on which one you get,
Holy cow!
because people are supply and demand. It's dumb. But I had to grab them all up. I was like, I had money. I didn't need to do this, but I guess. I hate missing good deals.
I just want to.
Also, I bought a oh, Julius, I haven't used it, but I bought a weathering kit. I have a compressor, airbrush, paint, all that stuff, but I haven't used it since basically summer of last year. I need to get back into weathering.
What were you saying, TV?
When I was working 60 hours a week, that wasn't happening.
I want to get back into N scale stuff.
Yeah, make a little layout.
I really should.
Do it or Z scale.
No.
Z scale's pretty good right now, isn't it?
No, I'm not going down in size more.
You don't. The cat is already going to be like Godzilla. You don't need to make it worse.
Dude, Dorian is gonna be all over it, bro. I won't be able to do it. I'm gonna have to kick the cats out of the room. It's like, no.
Oh, TBA, you like this train? Smack.
Yeah, I was showing.
What's the matter, Daddy? You don't like.
You know.
We had to put him on timeout the other day.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude, he was like, my mom was trying to work, and like he was just running all over the house, jumping up her leg with claws out, and she's like, you know what, you're going on timeout.
Oh no.
And so she puts him in the closet, and then we forgot him in there.
Oh my god.
We heard him meow, meow, and he's like, you know, I've sent you guys over it on Snap where he like reaches under the door with his paw.
Yep.
And we saw that under the closet, and we're like, oh shit, we left the cat in there. Oops.
Well, see, if you had
Who would get lost?
if you had a shelf
Go ahead.
layout like TJ, then you wouldn't need to worry about the cats stepping on stuff, or they would figure out how to get up there, and then you would have a real problem.
Yeah,
I think
like-
they would definitely get up there.
but the thing with the shelf layout and N scale is I'd have to be on multiple ladders, and
Yeah.
I'm not about that.
You just stand on a stool in the middle of your room, and you have it all around you.
That's
That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah.
I stand on my bed.
I guess that would work.
TJ's already doing narrow gauge, so like.
But
Well,
like
technically.
I kind of talked about earlier, if once I get the space cleared out, I would probably get a couple of those folding tables like you can get at Walmart
Mhm.
and set them up in a L shape, and then just build some track over it.
And that's just the beginning. You do that, and you think you're going to be happy, and then you're like, ooh, but I could add a house, or I could add this, or I could add this, and then suddenly you're building bench work. Be careful. A model railroad is never done.
No,
Yeah,
it's-
well-
it's,
It's especially never done if you can never get the wiring to work.
Ooh, Transition King.
you get a point for calling it out.
He already has a point.
Well, he gets another one.
TJ, were you having wiring trouble?
Yeah.
Oof.
Don't you have like the expert wire guy for model railroading right here in the call?
Yeah, I'm definitely the
Yeah, I
expert.
do, but he had COVID when I was
that
wiring,
is true.
So.
I did have COVID.
Imagine
that was
literally
kind of the
having
issue.
coronavirus.
Imagine getting COVID.
I would
actually though.
don't imagine it. It sucks.
I've been the few lucky. Well, I have not had it yet, so I'm counting my lucky stars.
Yeah, we all.
TJ, I just show up in like a full hazmat suit. Like, let me show you how to work this soldering iron.
You just need a gas.
Oh, this isn't working. Let me fix it.
Burns down entirely. Yeah.
Darth Vader.
Yeah. Luke, I am your electrician.
I am your solder.
I am your solder.
I am your solder.
I found the name of the podcast.
Oh my god.
Hey, Julius, you know what I'm happy that I got?
Laid.
No.
Darth Solder.
But the CM, I love the CM&Q. Like, their paint scheme's good. I hate that CP bought them. I wanted to go see them over the summer, but then COVID hit. But those units are nice, and they're hard to get their hands on. Like
Obi wiring Kenobi.
All right, now you're pushing it.
All right, I'll shut up.
No, but yeah, no. CM&Q, they were a good-looking railroad, and I liked that they carried on the legacy of the Banger Uristic. Rest in peace.
yes, which I mean, I hope they keep. CP better keep it around, or at least donate it.
I think in my laughing. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say they just have a free heritage unit that they got basically.
Right? Yeah, but you guys also got free heritage units, and you turned them into Napa Valley Wine Train.
We don't talk about the Napa Valley Wine Train.
Of course you don't. Because you are the Napa Valley Wine Train. I don't think I've ever seen you two in the same room. Hold on. I accidentally.
Yeah, that's true.
In my laughing and smacking the
Discount.
desk, I turned on my lamp. Give me a second. There we
Okay,
go.
flexing.
Uh,
Oh, it's clap on, clap on.
yeah, I have a clapper in here.
Please allow me to use my clapper.
I didn't want to interrupt anybody with clapping. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about? Gloria keeps making note of like, hey, we haven't gone to see Woda in a while, and I'm like, we should do that. So I think she's being converted, and I'm not even really trying. But maybe she just likes spending time with me, simp.
No, that can't be it.
No. Anyway, so with that out of the way, it's time for
Locomotive versus.
yes.
Yes.
I feel like I need a drop. I don't know how to set up like audio drops, but if I knew how to do that, I would set up audio drops.
We still need to figure out how to make the Iron Horseman soundboard.
That's what we need. One of them needs to be Locomotive Versus. Anyway, alright, so competitors, Kevon and TBA, send me your preferred pictures of your locomotives so I can introduce this battle of giants.
Insert the Choose Your Character theme song.
Yeah. I need the Kevon. What the hell is that?
What? I honestly don't know. Is there a good picture of these things? There has to.
I got a good picture of one.
I was almost convinced to buy a model of one of these by Ray Schofield. But yeah, so in one corner we have the B&O
Is there,
EM1.
Is there an N-scale Y6B?
I would think not.
Damn. I need to see.
EM1. They are real chunky boys. I'll say that much. We don't have too many like. All right, hold on. Let me open this picture as well. No, that's Pinterest.
There actually is. It looks like trash, but
I'm going to
think
use.
MTA.
I'm going to use this picture for TBA because it's a little bit more detailed. Oh, and there's your DM and IR Yellowstone. The Duluth, Misab, and Iron Range. Or Misabi. Is it Misab or Misabi? Who knows?
I have No idea.
All right, so
And they look exactly the same.
they're similar, but not totally. We'll see how similar they really are in Locomotive Versus. I think since the DMNIR has such a terrible track record at Locomotive Versus, I'm gonna give them the first go. So, Kevon, what's your stat?
Factor of adhesion.
Oh,
jumping right in.
Bold. All right, he must be pretty confident.
Alrighty, my factor of adhesion is 4.22.
That's pretty good.
Mine is 4.
Ooh, that's why. That's why.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Maybe this isn't as trash as all the other DMNIR engines we've ever done.
Oh.
Probably is. I wouldn't doubt it yet. I don't think Kevon can pull it off.
Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da.
Damn it, he didn't even acknowledge me, man.
I'm just gonna go Robert Lamasia power computation. I'm gonna see how bad.
27,613.
Oh, 30,000 exactly.
Whoa.
Out.
Okay.
My power.
Same as above plus superheater percentage.
35,620.
38,700.
Okay.
I'm only using 2% of my power. It's okay.
Same as above plus same as above, but substitute firebox area for grade area.
There you go, buddy.
229,181.
232,200. Power L1.
21,050.
22,722. Power MT.
765. Oh my god, 0.48.
715.29.
Wait, what?
Yeah, 715.29. He beats me.
Hello? Okay.
Oh, I got more power. I got power MT. That's cool.
Oh, geez.
More power per weight, basically. Okay, so TBA, it's all yours. You got to figure out what you can win in, man. It's not power.
Unfortunately, it is not. Ooh, alright. What is your high pressure cylinder's diameter times stroke?
26 by 32.
24 by 32.
Oh.
Tractive effort?
115,056.
140,090.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Fuel capacity.
Oh, wait, did he say 15?
Oh shit, I'm getting a call from NAU.
Hold on.
I think he said 100. You said 115,000?
I said 115. 1 5.
Oh, okay, I thought it was
115.
150, and I was like, damn!
No. Fuel
Okay.
capacity? Tender fuel capacity. Tons.
Wait,
How many tons?
say it again?
25 tons.
I was gonna say.
Oh, 26 tons.
Oh my god.
I am kind of scared now.
Why? You're kicking my ass.
Firebox area?
Oh, shit. Dude.
E.
756.
750.
Ooh!
What's
Okay.
your grade area?
125.
Damn it, bro. 117.
Oh, these are neck and neck. Okay, evaporative
not.
heating surface.
Evaporative heating surface is 5,298.
6,782.
Holy
Superheating
crap.
surface?
2,118.
2,770.
Oh my
Combined
God.
heating surface.
7,416.
9,552.
Jesus.
Evaporating heated surface divided by cylinder volume.
158.
172.44.
Both of those are terrible.
I am scared to touch some of these things.
Do it, no balls.
Minimum weight of rail.
101.
117.
Oh,
Chunky
no.
boy.
TBA. Hey, we have enough points to go to style
Wait.
points. Oh wait, no, we don't.
No,
Sorry, I misread
no.
that. I misread that.
Stop it. What's your weight on drivers?
Weight on drivers. Weight on drivers. 560,257.
485,000.
Okay.
I got you now. All right, what's your engine weight?
695,000.
Javon should win because sex number.
I've got 628,700.
Yeah, but sex number.
That's a much lighter boy. I did not expect that at all.
What is your total engine and tender weight?
1.13340.
I've got 1,010,070 or 700.
Yeah.
In other words, lighter.
Yeah. Okay, so and what is your engine wheelbase?
Oh.
67.17.
65.17.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
What's your driver wheelbase?
Uh-oh.
34.5.
33.5, dude, that's so close.
Oh my god.
Holy crap. Okay. What is your driver diameter?
63.
64.
What?
Yeah.
How?
Don't know. 64.
He's a smaller wheelbase, but
But bigger drivers.
okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting.
So who wins that one? I forget. I always forget.
Bigger drivers win.
Oh my god, I won by an inch. I might lose this one, but what is your boiler pressure?
Oh.
240.
Oh my god, 5 pounds difference. I got 235.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, tender water capacity.
Gallons. 22,000 gallons.
Stop.
25,000 gallons.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
We already did most of these.
This is a fight to the death. It's 15-9.
Yeah, I'm getting raped.
What year were you built?
1944.
Oh, 1941.
Ooh.
Oof.
The EM1 scores another one. So now it's 10-15.
How many of you were built?
18.
30.
Nice.
That's not fair. No, it absolutely is.
Hey, what's your local base ID?
Well,
334.
333.
oh my god.
God damn it.
These guys are right next to each other on the registry.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I want to go to style points.
Oh, really? Alright. Okay,
I can't think. There's nothing else I really want to do.
I have my judge's choice. Which is... So you guys did number built. What's your number in class? Huh?
18.
Number in class 30.
Double dip. Alright, Achilles,
Ooh.
do you have one?
Yeah. Let's see. Do you guys have any? Well, that's dumb. There's none left of either class. But oh wait, yes, there is. Do you guys have any?
It's gotta be on the stat page. That's not a stat.
It's gotta be on the stat page.
We'll get to the...
Okay, question.
I'll come up.
Is retirement a stat or style point?
It's a style point.
Okay.
I'm gonna open this page just so I can check on what we've done and what we haven't done. We haven't done like Builder or Valve Gear. We haven't done. Oh man, we have done a lot of stuff. We haven't done any of the tubes or flues. What?
What valve gear do you guys have?
Baker.
Wall shirts.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Alright. The score is now 16-13.
How did I get 2 strikes?
I don't know.
Two bad jokes.
You had one, and then you pointed out a segue, so somebody else gave you a strike. Okay. Is TJ back yet? TJ said he's in the bathroom. I want to give him a chance to ask, but we've been through like everything.
It was close.
Yeah. I mean, really, the only thing we have left that didn't get mentioned is...
Was tractive effort asked?
Yes.
Was tractive effort asked? Okay.
Yeah. We didn't do driving wheelbase to overall engine wheelbase. We didn't do...
He said minimum weight on... We did minimum weight on rail.
Yeah.
TJ.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't done ratio of driving wheelbase to overall engine wheelbase. We haven't done my weight computation. We haven't done builder. We haven't done...
That one too, TJ.
Gray area. Yeah, we've done that. We haven't done tubes, flues, or fluent tube length. Any of those three. TJ's really trying over here.
Yeah, he's trying his best.
Superheater percentage.
Superheater percentage.
That's not
Already done.
Yeah. The superheater percentage isn't its own stat. It's used to calculate other stats, though. And we did do
TJ,
superheating
he's literally
surface.
giving you a list of... He's literally giving you a list of things we haven't done, and you're still guessing things we've done.
He's trying, okay? I just said we've
There
done that.
you go, he did it.
Wait, we did superheating
No,
surface.
I know we did. I just said that we did it. I'm trying to multitask. Is the other task? Never mind.
Urinating.
Yeah. Well. He's walking. Combined weight.
Combined weight. We did that.
Just say you don't have one.
This is why.
Just
I
say
have
you
the
don't have
list.
one.
Total engine tenor wheelbase. Have we done overall total length?
I don't
think we've done
think
that.
we
I don't
did.
think we've done that. Okay.
I don't
we
think we
haven't?
did ratio. Did we do ratio?
We did do overall wheelbase? No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
No, we did engine wheelbase and driver wheelbase.
I thought we did overall, and I lost.
Well, I mean, you probably would, but what were your numbers? Jog my memory.
Mine was one.
Actually, no, we didn't. I know we didn't do it because it's 113.
Oh my god!
Oh my
Okay.
god, 113. Mine was 112.50.
Oh my god. All right, now
Inch.
we've got that out of the way. The score is now 14-16.
Can I ask your axle loading?
No, we already called going style points.
No.
Yeah, that's also I do not have that stat. So
Oh, rip.
it wouldn't matter.
That wouldn't help. That helps no one. All right, so style points, guys. Let's see. I'm gonna give the paint point.
How many survivors?
Okay.
I know there's no EM1s. There are 3 DMIR.
That's just
yellow
ridiculous.
steps.
Why were there so many of these?
Also,
Okay.
they were in excursion service.
Why?
Or
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am giving that point to you. I would give the paint point to you as well, but I think that style point is offset by the engraved B&O doodad because that's just cool looking.
Also, weren't they painted in like a bluish?
But he gets
color?
a point for white walls.
Well, no, I was just going to lump that into a paint point, but I think it's offset. Like I'll give him that. Like, I'll give you the white walls and the cool logo point. And then the B&O has this engraved plate on the front, which I find particularly cool. And I think that is also...
Quote from basically Weibold. During 1943 to 1944, as many as 12 Yellowstones were operating on the DNRGW, the Great Northern and Northern Pacific, under lease, where they were highly regarded. In fact, DNRGW telegraphed the DMIR with the claim that the Yellowstones were the finest engines ever to run on the Rio Grande.
Yeah,
That's
they were
the point.
They really loved them. They really... I'll give them that point, and I also have to give a point because they have way more sand capacity. And an all-weather cab. They also have that going for them. Which the B&O thing does not have at all. Other than that, I don't know what else to give here. Nothing else really jumps out at me. The EM1 certainly put up a valiant fight, but I'm kind of surprised it lost. You guys both have head-end throttles. You both have power reverse.
Do you know when yours were retired, TBA?
No.
Hold on.
Someone able to find that?
Let me look it up briefly. Let me see if I can get my hands on that information.
Oh, 1960.
Okay.
Holy crap, really?
Yeah.
Wow. What about you,
B&O
Kevon?
kind of...
I think
B&O's
it's
dieselized early.
1963.
Holy Moses. These are late retirees. Late retirees, that's for sure.
And then they pulled them back out for excursion service, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, the fact that you're putting this thing on excursion service.
60 is pretty late.
I mean, who would use a Malay for excursion service? Who would be that... Oh, hi, Western Maryland. What are you doing here?
Union Pacific.
Yeah. I think Union Pacific gets a pass. Because they're Union Pacific. Well...
No! Just because you're UP does not make you special.
I mean, it's not like they're using it for, like, you know, the scenic line service. They decided we're gonna wave our giant dick of a big boy around and, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why they're not special.
I mean, I feel like there can be only one if we allow anything at all. And I'm just saying that I'm just trying to throw shade at Western Maryland here.
I am inevitable.
I can't believe a DMNIR thing won.
I mean,
Not
they kind
only
of needed
did
it for
it-
iron ore service, so I kind of guess it makes
Yeah,
sense.
but other engines
Not
sucked.
only-
Okay, well, I guess they had one good engine out of the 5 that have been on the Terminus.
Not only did it win, it mopped the floor.
Yeah, it's a more powerful engine, and Kevon definitely hit all the right points. Let's see. So that's 22 to 15. We've had worse.
Well, I figured if you lose power, you probably get weight, so I had to go for power immediately to figure out what is what.
Hey, Kevon knows how to play this game. Anyway,
Pop off, Kevon.
also a DMIR thing. I had window shades, but I already wrote the points down. Oh well. What about our votes here? What do we like? Don't you just summon Whitebolt?
Well, usually I'm one for pity votes, but I kind of have a thing for the DMNIR, given that I'll be filming them in the former DMNIR in July. So I'm going to go with the Yellowstone.
Okay.
This one, the DMNIR Yellowstone.
I'm definitely
I'm
going to vote
also
for the
gonna
M1.
vote
I
for
have
the-
a soft spot for them in particular.
Gonna vote for the DM&IR as well.
Okay.
Got a soft spot for them as well.
Yeah, like as do I.
I mean, they're alright engines. I mean, I don't like the front-mounted compressors, but... You know.
Actually, well, never mind. Be a
Alright,
scandal to change
so
my
there's
vote
that. Okay, now we were talking about melees on excursion service, so I have to bring this up straight away. 1309. Well, we talked about how the WMSR is under investigation because they just sort of had a bunch of money that they were supposed to use for fixing the track, and then they didn't fix the track. There's a
Yeah, suspiciously the track is still broken.
yeah.
I wonder
know.
where that money went.
I wonder what could have happened. Actually, did somebody grab the 1309 article? I thought I did, but now I don't know where it is.
Maybe I had it. Hold on, let me look.
No.
Hold on.
Where'd that 1309 article go?
Where did it?
I ate it.
Oh, nice, thanks.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Oh, yeah, it's unclaimed. I found it. I named it WMSR track. So, yeah, they still need about 50,000 ties replaced. So now that they have this engine that's taken years and millions to fix, they can't do anything with it. Which I feel like we've been saying that from the very beginning, but, you know. Nobody listens to us. Nobody needs to. That's about every tie on the railroad. I just want to throw that out there. That's the metric that's here. It's about every single tie on the Western Maryland Scenic. So, I hope they have a good time with that. Good luck to them. When their audit is done. They aren't the only ones, just throwing money away, though. Well, I mean, you can get on the...
Speaking of throwing money away.
Oh, no, I was going to say, you can get on the Metropolitan Transit Authority all you want for extra overtime and stuff like that, but maybe this guy was not in the right. He was, just having sex at a rail yard while collecting overtime. He was a 25-year veteran. He used to... He brought an unauthorized woman out of the grounds of the Croton Harmon property at least 3 times, or 3 times, and including at least one time where they, got into it. The, quote, kiss and intimate contact in a railroad storage yard, quote, behind the open door of the woman's Nissan Pathfinder.
Nice.
Nice.
Man,
It went.
if that's what you're into,
Yeah.
more power to you.
It went down a mere 10 to 15 feet from tracks clearly labeled no entry except authorized vehicles, but he was busy entering himself. So, entering her. But
So, speaking of throwing money away,
yeah,
the congressional Democrats are set to back more than $50 billion for the transportation sector.
okay. I don't think we should be calling that throwing money away.
No, I don't know, definitely not. I am very happy about this.
Can we get a strike for that terrible transition?
United States Congress are to release a sweeping plan on Monday to provide more than $50 billion in additional assistance to U.S. airlines, transit systems, airports, and passenger railroad Amtrak, and create a $3 billion program to assist aviation manufacturers with payroll costs, according to documents seen by Reuters and sources briefed on the matter. So it's not just Amtrak, it's also the transportation sector as a whole.
Which is important.
Let's
We need that.
Yeah. President Joe Biden had proposed $20 billion for struggling U.S. transit agencies and nothing for airlines, while Democrats had pushed for more transit help, citing the collapse in travel demand as a result of COVID. Transit agencies have previously been awarded $39 billion in emergency assistance by Congress. New York's MTA says daily subway travel has been down 70% or more recently.
Jesus.
Airlines have been awarded $40 billion in payroll support since March, and airline unions have asked Congress for another $15 billion to keep thousands of workers on the payroll past March 31st.
We did talk about
The
what
addition-
Amtrak would want to do with its money last time, which it's sort of
Yes.
laid out like why we need this stuff, why it's important, you know.
So it seems like beyond Amtrak, this is trying to offset the cost of COVID for the transportation sector, which is good. People like AOC even weighed in on their support of Amtrak. So things are, in a tweet she said on February 18th in response to something, "Don't blame me for this. My points are on Amtrak." So she apparently has Amtrak points, confirmed. So Congress members are... it's good to see Congress members actually, caring about the transportation sector instead of just letting it kind of run itself and seeing what happens.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people like and we've established why Amtrak is important, blah 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 blah, and why it's even more important now. I find it funny that travel demand is down 70% on the New York subway, but they still have enough, like, they still are bringing in people enough that they can have people on overtime. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? I feel like with travel demand going down, you wouldn't need to have to make people work overtime and subsequently use that overtime on banging their girlfriends. But, they can do that at home, I guess. But one guy doesn't think so. This is something that got dropped in Terminus News, and I wanted to bring it up because it's almost frustrating. Well, it is frustrating. It's almost more than that. Just this Cato Institute, which I've never heard of before, and a man by the name of Randall O'Toole, who is basically ripping apart trains and high-speed rail as a concept. He calls high-speed rail obsolete technology, and
What?
yeah, despite
That sounds dumb.
Pete
How
Buttigieg.
is literally the newest technology obsolete?
Oh,
Come on,
he's saying
dude.
trains as a whole are obsolete because of airplanes. Okay, stop. So he starts off by saying Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg wants to make the United States the global leader in high-speed rail. That's like wanting to be the world leader in electric typewriters, rotary telephones, or steam locomotives. All technologies that were once revolutionary but are functionally obsolete today. High-speed trains in particular were rendered obsolete in 1958 when Boeing introduced the 707 jetliner, which was twice as fast as the fastest trains today. Now,
Yeah, but just because... Okay, so... Sorry, go ahead.
This just strikes me as an individual who has never traveled in Europe or in, China or Japan, like, or maybe even in the United States on the Eastern Seaboard, because given the opportunity to travel like from Boston to Washington D.C. or from Boston to New York, particularly, or anywhere along this corridor that's like 3 hours distance, 4 hours distance, 5 hours distance, I will take a train 100% of the time, and that's not because I'm a foamer. It's because not only are the prices competitive, but I don't have to get like frisked and wait at an airport for 2 hours, like, and deal with traffic and have to worry about like, oh, am I going to be like miles outside of downtown when I arrive? There are so many airports that are in the middle of nowhere compared to their cities and don't have a lot of transit access. Like, a lot of them have some transit access, which is nice. But try flying into LaGuardia. You'd think that there would be some sort of connection there, but no, you have to find a shuttle bus, or you have to hire a taxi. And,
like Sacramento International Airport, bro. It's out in the middle of farmland out on I-5. Like, it's either take a bus, rent a car, or get an Uber, unless you know somebody. It's dumb. And it's like 20 miles in the city.
yeah, this just strikes me as an article written from someone who either has not had a lot of experience with trains,
This is why.
and thereby,
run by Koch Industries.
Well,
Industries.
okay, but it strikes me as
Coke
someone who
workers.
either doesn't have a lot of experience riding trains in the first place, or or traveling in the first place, or has like so much travel experience that's paid for by a company or something like that, where you don't have to worry about the particulars, you don't have to worry about the details. You just you show up at the airport and get on a plane and bill it all to a company card. Like, for so many people, this stuff does make a lot of sense. And yes, it's not the fastest. It's not the most inexpensive, but it's a really nice middle ground for a lot of people. And sometimes it is the most convenient. I mean, he puts a picture of, I assume this is I don't recognize it, so I assume it's a Chinese high-speed train, or maybe it's Japanese. But, slower than flying, less convenient than driving, and more expensive than either one. Well, not necessarily more expensive. And
more scenic than both.
I mean, that's true. Well, I don't know about more scenic than a car in a lot of cases. At least you can, stop and see things in a car. But it is very scenic a lot of the time, and you don't have to worry about focusing on the road, so that's fair.
Let somebody else do it. You can just chill. If you take the train, it's just vibe simulator.
I mean, it's nice. It's very nice. Given the money and given the time, it's the way to travel. I will argue that. I really do think it is. And, slower than flying, less convenient than driving? I don't know. But I don't know about you, but I will never try to drive to Manhattan. Ever. I've had to drive through there once, but I will take the train 100% of the time if I have the opportunity to, unless there's a specific reason why I need to have my car in downtown New York, or downtown Boston even, or, Philadelphia, Baltimore, any of these major cities.
Hey.
I wouldn't... What?
Hey, you know who you're talking to?
The L Rider?
Hell yeah, boy. I'd much rather take the L train than drive in downtown Chicago.
Anyone that has to be behind the wheel of a vehicle in a major city probably understands the virtues of not being in a car.
Dude, it's scary, bro. It's scary driving this city.
And he brings up high-speed rail lines in disconnected networks in different areas that were proposed under the Obama administration in 2009, and how that didn't really pan out. I mean, California high-speed rail has been a managerial disaster.
They tried and failed.
I mean, I would like to paint a more rosy light on it, but it's just been a comedy of errors that's cost billions.
They tried and failed.
But, I mean, we'll get something out of them sooner or later. It's not like they've stopped building, but I hope California high-speed rail becomes an exercise in what not to do when planning.
What not to do.
Yeah. Also, I love this. China has built 22,000 miles of high-speed rail lines, and that construction has helped put China's state railways nearly $850 billion in debt. Okay, how indebted are we as a country? Can we check?
I think it's real bad.
Yeah, it's
almost
tens
as if
of trillions.
How much debt is
doesn't
the
really-
U.S. in?
Doesn't really mean anything.
A country being in debt doesn't mean a whole lot.
Since 2008, America's national debt has surged nearly 200%, reaching $27 trillion
oh wow, that's even
as
worse
of
than I thought it was.
as of October 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what bank is going to call you on that? None. You pay the people, you build the thing, and then your people enjoy it.
Oh, this guy wrote a whole book on this.
Oh, of course.
It's called "Romance of the Rails: Why the passenger trains we love are not the transportation we need."
I mean,
Well,
Well, I mean, it sounds like they really like the airline industry. I mean,
And the highways. He does talk about,
yeah,
You know.
the thing is like the issue I have with this article is that, I mean, for one, it's funded by the Koch brothers, but that's a whole nother can of worms. But the other issue is that they're not looking. I mean, sure, trains are not as fast as a plane or as convenient as a car,
asterisk.
but also asterisks. But in the like in terms of like environmentalism and climate policy, which the Cato Institute supposedly has a record for making false claims on, they're not recognizing the consequences that come with airline travel and car travel, and it seems like to an extent rail is one of the solutions to that problem, but I don't see that being mentioned in the article at all.
But the real thing that is even more pressing than that, I would say, is basically he's pushing to build more highways, which, yeah, because adding more lanes
we can't
solves
take care
everything.
of already. Yeah.
But that's the other thing. Yeah, they might not be as convenient as a car or as fast as a train or whatever, but they're missing the thing that trains do really well, which is moving a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly.
If you need a system that moves a lot of people and doesn't take up as much space or is as dangerous as a 10-lane highway, you just need a train.
Giant terminal airport.
But even then, an airport doesn't move that many people unless it's just positively gigantic, and it's not like you're going to use that to get to work every day.
And that's the thing too. Like, planes only hold what, like 50, 60 people, and how many?
No,
Probably
like
200,
300
really?
people.
That many people?
Yeah.
Hold on, let's
Not if I'm in those seats.
On like a commuter flight though.
Let's see, 737 max
Like
capacity.
what would you consider a commuter flight? Because like obviously big, national and big flights carry
178 to 193.
If everybody fits in one seat, which
Also-
I do not.
Well, also,
I think that's a very
that
American
amount.
problem.
Hold on. Your coach. Now that's so.
There was
So hold on. What was that? A 738-7? Can hold almost 200 people.
737.
Yeah, 737. Which, I mean, every single plane on Southwest is 737, so that's a decent metric.
Like, sorry, go
But
ahead.
A double
Basically
decker
be
coach, like a standard commuter coach, double decker commuter coach, will hold on its own 120 people, or has 120 seats,
Mhm.
not including standing room. So you get a train of those. That's a lot of planes.
Yeah, exactly.
And
'cause
the
if you
AM
wanted to go
fleets
from
are
Providence to Boston, like, you
89
wouldn't-
person or 89 people per car.
how many people
So that's
can
three.
fit in a superliner superliner coach?
I wouldn't use Superliner because that's more long distance and they're not
That's what
suited
I mean,
for.
like if you wanted to go from Boston to New York, you could either fly or Boston to Washington, I guess, or Baltimore, I guess. Is a better
Also, what commuter cars are you looking at that can hold 100 and some people?
probably the MBTA ones. The
Or Metro.
What are they? The Samsung ones? No, they're not Samsung. They're
Samsung.
Yeah, the Superliner coaches can only hold 62 people.
Yeah, but 62 people on the upper
and
level,
then
and 15
the
on the bottom.
Metro
So it's like almost 80 people.
and the Metro Gallery cars, they don't have that many seats.
Yeah, but they're also designed for standees. You know,
That's true. They do have quite a lot of open space inside.
they are. Yeah, an MBTA double-decker car is like.
Oh, look at this.
Hold
How old is this article?
on.
Oh,
What?
last year. Someone did a mock-up of MBTA, the next-gen MBTA Stadler cards that they might be looking at.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to say that. I mean, I feel like everyone listening to this podcast is already on board with this idea, but no, trains are not obsolete. High-speed trains are not obsolete. Low-speed trains are
No,
not
they're
obsolete.
definitely not.
Like,
I think they're actually the future. Like, I don't.
I mean, look, we have Brightline, which is actually like working out.
Yeah,
Finally.
Brightline
That kind
is
of-
doing work actually. Right now, they're planning a whole bunch of road closures so they can
Get rid of crossings,
work
maybe?
on this do this project. No,
if
they're
I can say one thing from
what's up?
that dude being all, oh, trains are obsolete. No, they're not. No, that dude does not know what he's talking about.
Okay, see, the thing is, they just don't understand. They're like, oh, we have Amtrak that goes 79 miles an hour, while in Europe they're going like hundreds of miles an hour and
Okay, but
actually
that's
go
because-
places.
That's because the government just decided to put restrictions in on that, which, all right.
Because
It's
stuff's
not that. It's
expensive.
that we don't have the infrastructure for
Yeah.
it. It's that we don't.
We're
it's that-
too widespread.
It's because what we did. I mean, like
I
we
mean,
said,
okay,
oh,
like,
cars are easy, planes are easy. Stop developing for rail.
eh,
For the longest.
like,
Sorry, go ahead.
P-42s can easily go 110 miles an hour, no problem.
That's not even what we need. I mean, we need a fully electric rail infrastructure.
Yeah.
Like that's what we need. Like if we
Like-
had long distance electrified, because that's what I'm saying. Like the issue,
Now, that's
the article
whole
is like
different ballgame there.
we're not asking like who. I don't know. I have so many issues with this article.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, there's
like-
a lot of issues that you can have with this article, but just looking at rail infrastructure in the U.S. and why things are the way they are, it's a lot of different facets. It is our devotion to the automobile, and our rebuke of rail infrastructure in the way that the Soviet Union did it, partially because the Soviet Union did it, during the Cold War. So we
Yeah,
went with cars.
Now, TJ, you mentioned like a fully electrified long distance network, something like the French TGV lines.
Hmm.
Yeah, that would work. I could see that happening.
I mean, even just the Eurostar. I mean,
Yeah.
the trains that run across Europe. We could do that. We could. Like, it's,
We
if just-
could
if we had
if-
the support for it.
if like everybody pitched in, we could do it.
And the nice
Look
thing,
at what
I'm
China
gonna-
did. China
Yeah,
has
I'm gonna-
like from the 2000s to now, they're basically a brand new network.
yeah,
from the
They
ground
went
up.
from-
It is
they went
pretty
from being
impressive.
like one of the worst to one of the best.
just because they decided to spend bongo bucks on it. And
Exactly.
That's what it takes. I mean, that's what it takes. I mean, otherwise you got to work slowly, and important things like, and I'll just throw this Brightline article here because I touched on it for half a second. Important things like, building more robust corridor service and restoring the long distance routes to, daily operation, and then expanding them to
Well, I
cover
mean,
areas and
even-
filling in areas that we don't have. You have to. It would be really cool to just sort of grow a high speed network out of nowhere. But I mean, on the one hand, I'm not saying don't try, but on the one hand, we definitely have California high speed rail to look at and say, well, maybe we should really do more thinking before we start doing all this doing, because
Yeah.
we clearly have some faults and issues.
But how much like
Uh,
the thing is like the thing is for me is like how long are we gonna just sit here and say let's just do the thinking first, like because everybody's been saying that, like they said that in the when the California high speed rail was like, oh, we're not ready for that yet, like let's do the thinking. It's like, okay, well, haven't you been doing the thinking between the California high speed rail fail and now?
well, I mean, I feel like
Where's the
answer is-
thinking been? Like, why are you like not?
the answer is not necessarily yes. That's the problem, isn't it? It would be nice if we were spending all this time concepting and prototyping and working, but we haven't been doing that.
Holy mackerel.
But we absolutely,
And that's the issue. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we haven't been doing it, and then people are saying, well, before we do anything, we need to do that. It's like, well, then do it.
yeah. Well, but there's more than one group
looked
of
up a
people
picture-
involved here.
Picture of the. That's a lot of seats.
What?
Speaking of doing something, Congress is calling on Amtrak to restore daily long-distance service.
Yeah.
Amtrak would be required to resume daily long-distance service
Ooh.
if Congress passes a new round of COVID funding. This week, the House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure released a funding proposal that would include $1.5 billion for Amtrak and $30 billion for transit.
Yo, Amtrak's gonna go daily again? That's lit. Let's go.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Come on.
We also have
The new money
Amtrak.
would be in addition to
I mean, we've got the right man in office to do this.
Farmers.
Amtrak Joe.
Yeah, we also have.
Back Biden over here.
And sort of we touched on this a little bit, but this is a little bit more of an expansive one. This is from the Times-Union, and it's about Amtrak looking at these corridors that I mentioned a minute ago. They've, now is the time to do the thinking. We've got people that can do it. I mean, doing is good too. But now we have the opportunity to do this, and so, we've been sending out Amtrak officials to go, meet with state officials in, they mentioned Tennessee, Texas, and Nevada, looking to bring better train service to some of the nation's fastest growing population centers. And the Times-Union, of course, is based out of New York, so they are talking about developing the new corridors up there, including what we previously mentioned in past shows, like extending the Empire Corridor, west from Albany to Buffalo and on to Cleveland, and on to Detroit via Toledo. There is mostly mention of those Ohio routes, and also the New York City to Scranton, and north to Binghamton, and did they mention anything else interesting in here? Oh yeah, the Ethan Allen extension, of course, that was already underway. And, Chattanooga and Nashville connected to Atlanta, Atlanta and Charlotte, Jacksonville with Orlando, Tampa and Miami, Orlando, Tampa, and Miami, so a more robust Florida corridor. LA with Las Vegas, we've talked about that at length. Los Angeles with Phoenix and Tucson. Denver along the Front Range. These are some things that we've seen if we've looked at the, if anybody's seen the Amtrak System 2035 proposal map. And these are all areas, like it mentions, that are fast-growing, that are populous, that have population centers relatively close together and are ideal for new corridors. Not necessarily.
What about? I hate to cut in, but have we heard anything about the Ohio Amtrak corridors too?
I think we talked about.
I know
them.
we were talking about that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and they're mentioned a bit.
But
in that.
I'm just wondering how they're going.
I don't think we'll hear anything on them immediately, at least until sort of all of this funding questions and these sort of Amtrak assessments go through. They want to figure out where to prioritize. Obviously, Ohio is a good place to start, but they want to know where exactly to prioritize. Meanwhile, our local state, who loves to throw its weight around, Maine is trying to get support for passenger service to Bangor. This would be an extension of the Down East Route. Currently ends in Brunswick. Yeah, Bangor. I barely even know her, but
Run it to Wisconsin. Run it to Wisconsin.
well, see, this is why I'm upset about this, TJ. It's funny because the service from Bangor from Brunswick can either go along the coast of Rockland through Wiscasset, or it can do this, which is what they're trying to get support for. This would be through Augusta to Waterville and Bangor. So basically just north up the center of Maine. Which, I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's probably better than Rockland. It gives it a little bit more legs. But it's, kind of upsetting that they're not going forward with the Rockland thing. At least not right now.
It's already there. That's what I don't get. The station's there and everything.
I know. It would be nice. But
So what? I don't have the article open. So are they? So they're running from Freeport. So they run up through Freeport now, and then run up to Rockland, right?
No, they
That's
don't. They don't get quite to Rockland. They run as far as Brunswick.
Right. Okay. And then
so,
there's so what after that they could split, or is there a different route they would take before that?
No, there's a junction on the east end of Brunswick where you can turn and start going north. The tracks are, already or still mostly save for a couple of areas where I think they're paved over in place. But yeah, it would be sort of going up the Route 295 corridor or along the river there from Brunswick. What river is this? The Kennebec River. It would run through, like, Farmingdale, Hollowell, Augusta, and it would continue up the river, again, on tracks that are already currently in place, through Waterville, and where it would rejoin the main line and continue on to Bangor. So, yeah. Alternately, they could go the other way through Lewiston, which would avoid Augusta as well, which they don't seem to want to do. But they do...
Yeah, I mean, it is the capital.
Yeah. They do want to have more than one train. You know, legislators from Lewiston are working on proposals to connect Portland to Lewiston, and of course there's still the Rockland question, which, you know, sort of is revisited every couple of years. But they're doing their funding study and whatever. We'll see how that goes. And you know, before I touch on a couple of the other bits of news which aren't as great, I wanted to make sure that we took care of all of the Amtrak-related stuff, and we talked about Amtrak sort of ambassadors going around the country. One of them is our very own Pete Buttigieg, isn't that right, Achilles?
That is right. So, the most accurate article and news source, Pete Buttigieg, according to The Onion, and they provide a very nice, you know, image of Pete Buttigieg doing this, albeit with a European train in the background. But basically, Pete Buttigieg is going around the country, you know, spending the week pretending he's a BNSF Jevo, pulling a stack train. He's all dressed up. He's got a great costume. And he's doing this in an attempt to truly understand the American rail infrastructure. And, yeah. So, unfortunately, though, he hit a section of crappy track and derailed at 80 miles an hour, killing 27 people and injuring 54. So BNSF should actually be the one who holds the Class 1 mental irresponsibility, not Union Pacific, given that they, you know, killed 27 people. Albeit none of this is actually true.
What?
This
Are
is
you
an
telling
Onion
me the
article.
Onion is giving me untrue news? They're the only news source that I read.
It is sad how accurate it is once in a while.
Well, yeah.
Like a frozen clock is right twice a day.
But no, yeah, the Onion article was posted in Terminus News and did have a couple people going for a little bit. But
why would Pete do that?
yeah, the long and short of it is we're glad to see the current administration sort of turning a more keen eye to Amtrak and what our rail infrastructure may need in the near future.
On the note of what rail infrastructure needs, and the Colorado Midland and Pacific, which is the Tennessee Pass people, are going to have to do a lot of work on the infrastructure in Tennessee Pass to get that up for passenger operations. But a lot of people in that area tend to not think that they're just going to run passenger operations like they've said. So a lot of people have, especially with the town of Vail and the state of Colorado, are assuming that because Rio Grande Pacific also happens to be the people behind the Uinta Basin Railway project out here in Utah, that equals they're going to be running oil over Tennessee Pass. Now, Colorado, Midland, and Pacific and the Rio Grande Pacific came out on February 8th, so not that long after the last podcast, and basically said, no, actually the day after the last podcast, said, just kidding, guys, no, we have no intention to run oil over Tennessee Pass, which they really can't run oil over Tennessee Pass, given that it's not a through route, because they didn't lease the gorge. But
Well,
they say they will be focusing on commuter and passenger service, and that they have no intention to haul oil. County commissioner. Okay.
I want to clear up a couple of things here. They don't need to lease the gorge to run trains out that end. They just need to make a deal with the Royal Gorge Railroad because they actually own that section. But there's a reason why passenger service is a lot more palatable in terms of profitability than it might look at first glance.
And that's because of all the ski resorts in the area,
Right.
as well as the close link to airports.
Right.
The ski train back? Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
No, probably not, because this is probably not going to happen.
Well,
it's not. I'm almost 100% certain. Trust me, it's probably not going to happen. Can't go into it, but I can almost tell you it's probably not going to happen.
Okay, but the thing is, they have, proposed to lease a section that takes up most of the pass, and at one end is more or less all of these really bougie ski resort towns, right? They are almost all on top of one another. But at the other end of their lease is the airport that serves these ski resort towns. And it's not
interesting.
Yeah, it's not something that had occurred to any of us, but Weibold, poked me out of the blue a couple weeks ago and was like, I've cracked it, I've figured it out, I know what they're trying to do. And, the lease goes from Midturn through Eagle Vale, through Beaver Creek, which is a really, really rich ski town, Avon, Walcott, Eagle, and Sage. Now, Beaver Creek, Avon, and Eagle are all the richest stuff, and they're all at one end, and the airport is, Eagle Vale, Beaver Creek, and Avon, those are the expensive ones. And they're all at one end. And Sage, or Eagle, basically the other end, is where the airport that serves them is. So it's about a 30-mile distance, and some of these tracks are literally neighboring the ski resorts, the hotels, and not just the hotels, some of the ski lifts themselves. So you could fly into the airport at Eagle, or wherever, get on a train, and basically get dropped off at a ski resort, at your hotel, at the lift, without having to rent a car and drive.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah, so if it were to go through, or if somebody else manages to get their hands on it, which, remains to be seen, there may really be a market here that's bigger than we had previously anticipated. Yikes. But yeah, no, they're not going to be running oil through there. They're probably not going to be running freight at all.
Nope. Unless on industry, but on the note, also, I'm gonna be a bitch and transition to another one of my articles. On the note of running freight, which is something Union Pacific does.
Allegedly,
I'm not gonna say well.
They don't do that.
West.
Union Pacific pledges to reduce emissions by 26% by the end of this decade.
Yep.
So, on February 10th, the railroad announced that the Science Based Targets Initiative, which is a partnership between CDP Worldwide, the UN Global Compact, World Resources Institute, and Worldwide Fund for Nature, basically they all kind of just agreed and said, hey, we want to reduce our government impacts, our environmental impacts by 26%. And there are many ways they can do this by either, cutting down on emissions, getting rid of high-emission vehicles, going Tier 4, stuff like that.
Electrifying,
but they're not going to electrify. So it's kind of ironic that they feel the need to reduce, because rails already reduced the output of trucks by 75%, but it's not a bad thing, because some of those GE is, as we see with the one that literally went kaboom, they're not the most efficient or clean, but
And they're a little
so
explosive.
They're going to continue to try, and they're a little bit explosive.
Well,
UP
You
will
know
be
what?
reducing their emissions by 1/3 by retiring 4014 immediately.
You know what has no emissions though?
battery-powered
Electrified.
locomotives.
Yeah.
Electrified train sets, like the ones that Metra is giving to the South Shore. Well,
Yeah.
South Shore is leasing them from Metra, I should say.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. The Northern Indiana Commuter Transportation District recently agreed to lease surplus gallery cars from Metra's electric district to meet the South Shore Line's expanded service plans once its double track and West Lake extension projects are complete. So they are ordering. A few of them already have gone over there. In the picture in this article here, there's 4 Metra gallery cars sitting in the yard. There's 12 similar cars piggybacked onto the original 26 cars that it's leasing from Metra. And those cars will be refurbished before arriving from Metra. So it sounds like Metra's refurbishing these older gallery cars to give to the South Shore. So that's cool. And it's kind of neat to see these commuter companies that are, in terms of companies, very close together. Like, sure, Metra can just drive them to the South Shore.
Is Metra private?
No, Metra's actually owned by BNSF, owned and operated.
So
No. It's just operated by BNSF. It's owned by Chicago.
So it is public?
Yes.
Okay. Is South Shore public?
UP and BNSF both operate Metra.
Well, if UP had its way, they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure what the conclusion of that saga is going to be.
You're
About that.
just gonna have to suck it up and deal.
That's interesting. Like, I mean, public commuter rail is getting more. It's getting bigger and bigger by the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like even the MBTA has plans to expand. You know, like
TM.
I think TM, yeah, soon TM, exactly. Like I think at least at a ideological level, commuter rail is in a very good place.
Yeah. Well, I want to say, just for a second, because, I mean, Kevon can take off from where we were with the zero emissions really well, but before I let him do that, having a private company run the actual operations of your commuter rail, and I don't mean like a private company like Keolis, I mean like an actual railroad, isn't without precedent. It has shown up in a couple other places, namely, the Boston and Maine ran most of MBTA's North Side service for a long time.
Yeah.
And, you know, having UP and BNSF roped into their contracts to run those trains, despite, on top of being an interesting legal battle, is also just kind of neat and not that unusual, I suppose. But yeah, so, Kevon, what were you saying about battery engines?
Well, by the year 2025, EPA Tier 4 standards go into place, which it's kind of a big deal because they're trying to lower nitrous oxide from 1.3, I don't even know what that, I'm not very scientific, but 1.3 GD per hour to 0.2, which...
Probably gallons, right?
Yeah, and then particle matters from 0.03 to 0.
Oh, that's good.
But that's also like, how are they going to do this?
Well,
hybrids?
I guess, but we also have like... the article goes into, there's battery-powered locomotives, there's hydrogen cell and hybrids.
Yeah, I was gonna say hydrogen, biofuel would be probably a good option.
Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of ways we could make our railroads cleaner. It's just a matter of when will we do it, and when will the technology be.
Well, by 2025, they're going to have to be.
Go.
I mean, we have Tier 4 engines in existence. It's just they're not all.
They're not very good.
Well, yeah, that's true. They'll get better.
And how is GE going to go basically to zero emissions in 4 years? Which, I mean, they're already in development,
They could
making
very
them,
easily
but
do
still.
that. They just go bye-bye to all their diesels once they have enough electrics.
Yeah.
I guess.
So wait, do Tier 4 emissions become requirement in 2025, or what becomes
No,
requirement?
Tier 5. Tier 4 is already...
Yeah. Oh, you said Tier
Tier
4 originally.
5.
Sorry, Tier 5 standard goes into effect in 2025. Tier 4 is already in effect.
What's their battle rating?
11.
You don't want to know. It's 0. Their battle rating is 0.
The particular rating is 0. Well, I wish them luck. I hope that works out for them. I hope we can get stuff online in that length of time, because that's coming up sooner. I bet you we'll see a lot of... Oh, we're not ready yet. Can we have a couple more years, like PTC over and over and over again?
Oh yeah, no, that would totally be what it be. But
yeah, except this is the EPA, not the NTSB, so...
Yeah.
So on the note of emissions,
So it's even
and
more
something
easily
that
ignored.
definitely is not zero emissions, the Grand Canyon Railway set the 8 dates for steam operations
Still
in
mad at them.
2021,
I'm still mad at
which ironically includes Earth Day.
that. Jesus.
Hey, steam locomotives aren't that bad.
I'm still mad at that.
So, Grand Canyon Railway 4960 will operate one train from Williams to the South Rim
Sure
on
it
the
will.
following dates: April 3rd, May 1st, June 5th, July 3rd, August 7th, and September 4th, plus April 24th, which is Earth Day, and September 18th, which is the 120th anniversary of the Grand Canyon Railway. These trains will feature Grand Canyon 4960, which is a Mikado built for the CB&Q in 1923, and the reason they're probably running it on Earth Day is because it runs recycled vegetable oil and it uses snow runoff for the water, so it uses very recycled stuff. The trains will run at 9:30 on each day, and the tickets are priced the same. So if you want to ride behind Grand Canyon 4960, which I think I'll be doing in September, you can do it for the same price as any other ticket to Williams, to the South Rim, and you can call their number, which is included on the thing. Other than that, I don't believe there's anything else interesting about 4960 other than the fact that it burns recycled vegetable oil, which is a viable option during the zombie apocalypse.
Wrong.
Yeah.
So, it's been snowing a lot lately.
Oh boy, yeah, let's get into the snow disaster stuff.
I don't know if I'd call this a disaster,
Oh, I would.
but there's a lot of ways to remove snow from many different things.
Oh,
you
no,
got
wait a
your
minute.
Rotaries. You have your rotaries, you have your spreaders, you've got your graders, right? Like the caboose with the blades underneath. But BC Railway
Planchers.
uses a B-52 jet engine to blast the snow off the tracks.
And they're not the
I
only
mean-
people that do this. This is not the
They're
only place where they have a jet engine strapped to a train.
I mean, what's worse, a jet engine being strapped to a train or UP having cannons that they shoot to cause avalanche?
Oh no, those are both amazing. This is America. Repurposed military
It's
hardware.
also worth noting that UP also has jets like this, and they have one based out of Roper Yard.
Also, the MBTA has one of these.
I can't believe
The
it.
MBTA has one of these. Snowzilla.
So that's cool. And then BNSF has what they call a snow coach, and they put them into service as winter rowers in the Northwest. They use basically a superliner and a baggage car just to ferry crews around instead of driving them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're old high levels.
Amtrak
From
has
the
been
Santa Fe
suffering
days.
through all this snow, I'll be honest. I mean, there's been, on top of the derailments and stuff like that, which led to cancellations and reroutes, as we mentioned previously, there have been icy conditions in the Pacific Northwest, in Arizona, and the South, and even, down into Texas and stuff like that. There were problems on the Heartland Flyer, Texas Eagle, Sunset Limited, Coast Starlight, Southwest Chief, and the City of New Orleans. They all had problems.
Oh, they didn't run. They decided not to run the Eagle or the Heartland Flyer.
Yeah. On top of
It's
that,
been
there
rough.
were delays on the Empire Builder, the Carolinian, the Palmetto, Lakeshore Limited, California Zephyr. Basically every train. Every train had problems. Like, major, major problems. And, where was it? There was another article in here about issues in, where'd it go? Texas had some other issues. In fact, Austin's entire transit service shut down, and oh yeah, here it is. Come on, tell me about these two you have.
Oh, the MTA, I think it's called. Pretty sure it's the MTA. Wait. Oh, okay, I know what happened. 1 second. Basically, Austin decided not to run their trains because it was too cold and no one's going to be out because snow cancels everything in Texas because no one knows how to drive.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody knows how to run electricity, apparently. So it was suspended because of weather.
The United States was good because El Paso was fine.
Well, yeah, also, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
That was about it. Also, there was the time that the Canadian town derailed a diesel locomotive and drove it down the street to provide emergency power to their residents.
see, why didn't Texas do that?
Yeah. Thanks
Where
a
are you
lot,
gonna
Union
get a-
Pacific.
Yeah, come on, Union Pacific. You have all those locomotives that are sitting in storage that could be running.
I was actually
Exactly,
just
take the
recanting.
deadline.
I was just recanting the story about driving the diesel up the street to Ian when he was over. I don't remember what got us there, but I was like, oh yeah. And at one point they drove an engine up the street just because they could, just because they had to. Like, they didn't need to lay tracks. I like how they used a crane to get it off the tracks, but then just drove it. Like,
But how do they drive it in a straight line? That's what I'm like. I want videos of this.
yeah, well, because the flanges cut into the street.
Wait, you're telling me they drove a train up the street without track?
Yes.
That's boss.
Also,
I mean, when you don't have power and you're trying to heat your homes.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd rather do that than die. I'd rather have to put some.
No, I
some
meant that
patch
in
on
a
the
good
thing.
way.
No,
I
I know
just-
it's crazy though.
Kind of cool.
I just want to throw this out there. What's better than doing this once? Doing it
Doing
twice.
it twice.
Yeah, they almost did it again. They were going to do it again, during the same. They brought in a second locomotive, and they were going to drive it across an overpass from the tracks to a school that was being used as a shelter.
That's awesome. Thank you, Canada. Very cool.
Yeah. But they decided that it wasn't safe to drive it across the overpass.
Yeah.
So they decided not.
How did the railroad, what did the railroad, I wonder what the railroad company did to get it back. It's just like, okay, well, I guess we have to drive the locomotive back down the street.
That's exactly what they did. They drove it back down the street, and then they hoisted it back onto the tracks with the crane. It's the most bizarre, tale, but it's real. I can't, sometimes.
As much as the city would have liked to keep the train around for the next emergency, a diesel locomotive would cost north of $2 million. That's fine.
It's fine.
$2 million generator,
Yeah, I feel
Also,
like
you can get one for... If you want a locomotive for cheap, just get it at scrap value. Bam.
Yeah. We even had a couple of scrap things. CN was scrapping a bunch of stuff. But that auction was all the way over by the time the podcast came around, so I was like, I guess we don't need to cover this right now. So, it looks like one of those circus cars sold, though. They were for sale. It got moved to... Yeah. It got moved to the Venice Historic Train Depot, which... Venice, Florida? Venice, what?
Probably maybe California. I don't know.
Venice something.
I don't think there's a train museum on Venice Beach, though, in
No.
California.
But
You know what else is for sale? SpaceX's Starlink internet service.
is it for sale?
And yes, you can finally buy it for $100.
Okay.
Kevon, I've got a question for you. Does it work when you're at high speed?
Yes, apparently it does.
Can you use it on? top
Someone
of the
asked,
train?
will Starlink dishes be deployed on high-speed moving objects like trains? And then he added Elon Musk, and Elon said, yes, everything is slow-to-phase array antennas. So apparently Amtrak can use Starlink, so you'll be in the middle of nowhere trying to think of a place.
This solves huge, the biggest problem with setting up, networks on trains, is because you have to have the trackside infrastructure for it. But now, if you don't, it basically makes it, it makes it possible to have Wi-Fi on the long distance trains, which is fantastic.
And you can be in Alaska, like on the Alaska Railroad, and have internet because the internet is everywhere now. Which I'm surprised no one did this beforehand. I mean, people have implemented it, but it just terribly.
I mean, I feel like it's just tough to have satellite internet before the modern era, because getting all that tech into a small enough package and then having it be able to still broadcast.
Yeah, and also a private
enough.
company being able to launch it into space.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
That was only possible through the government.
I guess. My thing is, I just want to buy a truck, so if I'm going rail fan in the middle of nowhere, I can just have a antenna on top of my truck and, be like, oh, I wonder where the train is, and then log into ATCS and find out.
Yeah. And you can do that a lot of time with hotspots, but they aren't everywhere, You can't necessarily get cell service everywhere, but you can get this service everywhere. Anyway. What else have we got? I wanted to transition to the CN stuff. I know you had something CN related, TJ.
I did. I'll pull it up. Well, I have it up. I will go to that article. Oh, CN is holding a vote on their climate plans at their shareholder meeting on February 12th. What? This is... I hate these. Thanks, trains. This is the article where there's 3 articles in one.
Mm-hmm. Great. Cool.
The action plan includes an annual disclosure of greenhouse gas emissions aligned with the recommendations of the Task Force on Climate-Related Disclosures, a science-based target for emission reductions by 2030, and annual progress updates. The vote, which will be non-binding, which, what's the purpose of a vote if it's non-binding, comes after TCI Fund Management Limited, CN's 5th largest shareholder, called for CN NCP, where it is the top shareholder. Interesting. The one company that owns both, that has shares in both railroads, is running the show. What a surprise. CEO Jay Ruist said the railroad is, quote, are working to mitigate and adapt to climate risks and opportunities to drive sustainable trade across global supply chains. As we look to 2030 and beyond, we recognize the need for new locomotive propulsion technology. Achieving net zero for freight locomotives is an industry challenge, and we encourage collaboration amongst our industry peers, governments, and supply chain partners, but especially the ones that we own. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't say that last time. No, very cool. It seems like railroads are kind of, hearing the music that it's time to change.
Or at least get better.
Yeah, or at least get better.
Yeah.
You know who needs to get better, though?
Foamers?
Foamers.
Yeah.
I don't this link here, it takes you to a video of some sort of altercation between rail fans. One of them is a much older male, and he's chasing down this kid who is go away, get the F away from me. There's nothing that explains what's going on except that this this older guy is harassing this
If
younger rail fan.
I recall correctly, that older guy was railroad police trying to get them off private property.
And also there was another story in a different spot, and I think this might actually be the spot where we went that one time in the Y, Ellis.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, there were a bunch of foamers there waiting for this train to come into Selkirk, and there was a CP employee, but because who was on the CSX track, because that's where the line hooks in. And I don't know if this is the same video or not, actually, but basically they didn't realize he was a CP foam guy, thought he was just some dude wearing a foamer wearing a high-vis vest walking down the CSX right away, and they said, oh, let's follow him. And so basically they follow him down there. The CP guy says, hey, I work for CP, you're not supposed to be here, only I'm allowed to be here. And he's like, well, you work for CP, you're not allowed to be here either. And then it eventually turned into a full-scale fist fight. And yeah, because the CP guy kind of got shovey, and then they started shoving him, and then they shoved back, and then it just got worse and worse and worse and worse.
See, now you said that it was security. Okay, then that's kind of on the foamers for not respecting the property limits or the authority of this man telling him to leave. If you're told to leave, leave. What's the use in starting a fight? You're not supposed to be there, and if you know you're not supposed to be there and you're told to leave, then leave.
Entitlement.
Come on. Whoa.
Yeah.
Look at what it got him.
Yeah, no, there was, there were 3 of the CSX, whatchamacallit, the units with the little roundels on them, I think it was. Or was it something else? I know it was 3 CSX, basically heritage units or specially painted units that are coming together. Yeah, it was
the 3 special painted units that were coming in together on one train.
Yeah, and it got people all riled up, and yeah, there was at least one altercation, or based on this, probably 2 with railroad employees or railroad police, because of people on private property, or near enough to that they can be asked to leave. That's the thing, Go rail fan, sure, and if you, do a little bit of trespassing, as long as you're not tampering with anything, it's not the biggest deal in the world. But if somebody shows up and tells you to leave, no matter if you think you're in the right or not, leave.
You leave.
Yeah.
You listen. You leave. You missed the train. Sorry, that sucks.
Yeah, go find another spot.
You find a new spot, or you just
literally
accept the fact that you
find a new spot half a mile away.
Yep. And if it makes you miss the train, then that's your fault. You shouldn't have been trespassing in the first place. That's on you.
Mm-hmm.
And people who do this, and
where you won't get caught.
Right. And people who do stuff like this are they should know that they are absolute disgraces to this community and make every rail fan look like foaming idiots. Foamy, brainless idiots.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And they should be absolutely ashamed in themselves.
Well, look at what that got us with the shark noses. The guy has them, they're stored inside, and doesn't want anyone to, go near them until I guess he dies.
Yeah. At which point
the
they'll be
problem
donated.
Is, there's no reason to get physical over being...
Over leaving because you want to see a train.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, dude. That's if you're gonna you're really gonna die on that hill. I want to see the train right here. It's no, dude. Selkirk is an easy, go somewhere else.
And admittedly, there aren't a lot of great places to look into Selkirk Yard since that bridge is gone. But there are so many crossings nearby and bridges, and you don't have to see it in the yard.
There had to be one other place, yeah.
Although someone needs to put up a little foamer tower at Selkirk, that's for sure.
They should have a rail.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. A rail fan park.
Oh.
But like what Julius was saying, those guys that do stuff outlandish like that, they should be ashamed of themselves.
And I hope they never come back to the community, but that's just me.
They're daddy for others. They're making the good guys. There's plenty of rail fans that they're very respectful, very nice people. But the guys that are out here causing problems, starting fights, and vandalizing shit, why? You're just damaging the brand, damaging the hobby. And if you're gonna be like that, then maybe this isn't the place for you.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be like that, you probably
If you're
shouldn't be in
gonna-
this hobby. You need to find a new one.
If you're gonna really like damage the
Wait,
to
okay.
prevent the other people from doing what they want to enjoy, go away.
What? When did this get here?
When did what?
The thing at Weibel's name, he
Huh?
has the Cato article, the CATR, the Global Leader in Obsolete Technology. Did he just put this there while we were doing the thing?
Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe it was left over.
No, because we just got it. Hold on, I gotta fix the title anyway, though. Hold on.
But that's all I have to say on that. Behave yourselves.
Nah, this has been a spicy podcast.
Yes.
And yeah, no, absolutely. It's, you don't have to... I mean, I think if anyone is listening to this that would ever get the inkling of like, well, I'm gonna stand up for myself if the railroad police come around. No, just leave. Just leave them alone. Like,
They're literally still police, and
Yeah.
they can arrest you.
There we go, I fixed the title. Oh, okay, alright, let's do something a little more lighthearted. Well, I know we have two more lighthearted things. One is something that Kavan has, and I've got this, which is dangerous, but, everyone was fine in the end. Now, they're doing a lot of work at the East Broad Top, right? And they happen to uncover 5 cases of unexploded dynamite in a basement on site.
Whoa!
Yeah. Or I believe it was in a basement, or at least it was
hardware.
in one of the buildings, which they were informed that it was there. Like, previously they had records of having this dynamite, but they didn't know where it was. And so now they found it. They found it, and then
I want to stick with it.
Yeah, well, they evacuated the place, and then they did some analysis and had it safely removed and disposed of. I like this last paragraph here, though. While the EBT Foundation is busying itself restoring much of the equipment at Orbisonia, it decided not to retain and restore the dynamite to operating condition, and instead was having specialty professional services incorporated safely dispose of it.
Not to retain and restore the dynamite to operating.
Oh, man.
Honestly, all it probably took was some fire, and it would be right back to operating. Right before your eyes, in a flash.
And you'd be dead.
Yeah. And you'd lose a good chunk of Orbisonia, but this is another big chunk of something that is operational, but we're getting rid of, unfortunately, probably. The beacon line connects 2 of the Metro North commuter lines about halfway up their length. It's a weird little stretch of rail, and it used to be part of the line that connected to the Poughkeepsie Bridge. But it's left, it was sort of left orphaned after that. It was used for equipment moves, and occasionally for some freight service, but not really. But the Metro North has basically had its fill of this line, and they want to finish the trail that comes off the Poughkeepsie Bridge utilizing this. I mean, some of it already has trail adjacent to it. But sorry about that. Yeah. Now, there are advocates that have said use it for commuter line, use it for commuter rail, or use it for this or that. And as much as we love to talk about retaining every scrap of rail possible, if we lose the beacon line, it won't be that big of a deal. I mean, the Housatonic Railroad is waiting for the abandonment to be officially filed so that they can object to it, because they still kind of use it occasionally. They have rights to freight service over it, and even though there might not be any customers there right now, the last thing they want to do is lose some of their legs. Now, the Housatonic is not a very wealthy or powerful or even functional railroad, but this is a handy connection for them to have. It connects down to the Hudson Line, and hypothetically, they could utilize it for freight connections in a more roundabout way, but I guess they're just hoping they get some customers on it someday. They don't really have a stake in this thing. They also want to use it for passenger service, but good luck to them with that. But that's something that's sort of been hanging over the heads of everyone who cares about that little area for a while in terms of railroad infrastructure, because the Beacon Line has been sitting there doing nothing for years upon years upon years. So, oh well. The article has a picture of a fan trip from 2004, which may have been the last time anybody was carried over that stretch. It is the way it is. I'm not sure if it would be all the way to Danbury, which I can assume that if the Housatonic does want to weigh in, that's kind of more of what they're concerned about. But it's such a roundabout way to get anywhere. I don't see the line being of much use, honestly. And that's it for me.
So there is a fundraising effort to save the rail tower.
Oh.
There's they're looking to save a former CSX interlocking tower in Union City, Indiana, which is scheduled for demolition. The effort seeks to raise $50,000 by March 25th for funds to move the tower. If the goal is reached, the project will receive another $50,000 matching grant.
Ooh.
The tower would be moved a few hundred feet into the Artisan Crossing Park, where it would become a multi-purpose building. Why not just turn it into a rail fan park? Wouldn't that be neat? More information is available, and donations to the campaign. And God, I sound like an advertisement.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. It's okay. You've almost sold me on this. Keep going. I'll buy an interlocking tower.
Oh, sweet. I made a sale. And donations to the campaign. Announced by Indiana Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch and Union City Mayor Chad Spence are available at the Petrona City and Union City websites. As of Tuesday morning, the effort has already raised more than $8,000.
Oh, wow.
So they're making strides. They want to save this tower. And, well, that'd be a good piece of history to preserve, I think.
Yeah, and we do have to legally state that TBA is paid on commission. If he manages
I'm definitely not.
If he manages to sell this tower. No, that's...
Slap this interlocking tower can run so many switches.
Yeah. But that's pretty cool. It's always nice to see a little piece of history saved. It'd be nice to see one of the interlocking towers around here not turn into a pile of rubble. Oh, well.
We had for the longest time been saying that Tower 55 was coming down as a meme.
Oh no.
And people actually believed
the
it.
employee pooped again?
Yeah, so no. So this is a while back when UP fired a guy for defecating all over a locomotive. And he told UP basically to F off.
No,
but
literally. So.
Out of all the things
for him.
Yes. So a railroad engineer who got back at his boss by taking a dump on connectors between two cars, throwing solid toilet paper out a window, and saying he left a present for him, gets to keep his job. A federal appeal court belligerently decides on Wednesday. So basically, they said
begrudgingly agreed, begrudgingly decided to let this man keep his job.
Each court, in turn, found that they were bound by prior decisions of the National Rail Adjustment Board, an arbitrary body which criticized the underlying behavior, but said the firing of the engineer would simply be unjust overcorrection, all things considered. So basically, they should have told him, no, that's bad, you shouldn't do that, instead of just firing him.
I mean, yeah.
Also, the sad thing is, his coworkers then had to clean up the mess using bottled water and paper towels.
Oh my
Think
god!
Of being that
That's
person.
still an unusual punishment.
I mean,
That'd be a
they
little
should have
bit
just
dumb.
made him clean it up.
He's fired. Like,
I know!
What do you do at that point?
I know, it's just
You can't tell him to come back.
Also, just bottled water. That's it.
Apparently hoses don't exist in Union Pacific land.
Oh, we know they don't wash their locomotives, so
Jeez.
They don't have a wash. They
they took SPism too far. Well, in good
Technically.
news, Intermountain is finally coming back with their HO scale Tier 4s. It has been how long? 2-3 years almost since they've not been in production.
Like 3.
So good for them. It's
Intermountain
been way too long.
Is Intermountain good stuff?
They're alright.
They're cheaper than scale trains, but they're nice if you just want locomotives. They're basically Athearn Genesis quality.
Do they have N scale?
Yeah.
Yes, they have
So does Scale Trains, I think.
Yeah, Scale Trains definitely has N scale.
TV is like,
looked into it and- Give me all of the N scale.
They have the Intermountain's N-Scale collection is a lot bigger, but they've also been they've been around a lot longer than scale trains.
Scale Trains, N scale, locomotives. Rivet.
Tier
I'm gonna be-
4s, Gevos. Also, they're coming out with scale trains.
Ooh, they're coming out with N-Scale
ES44s.
Ooh. They haven't announced N-Scale ES44s yet, but they have N-Scale hoppers.
No. They said a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They haven't officially announced them, but they're coming.
Oh, okay. TVA, you should model KCS.
he already does.
Can I get my? Can I get my?
Yeah, he already does it. What are you talking about?
I just want to say we've talked a lot about the future of railroading technology, blah blah blah. Today, BNSF has received a patent for a virtual track block system. So, moving blocks, etc. Basically, no signals. Everything's done, relative to the train in front of you. So your blocks extend just back from whatever train is in front of you. And with PTC installed on everything, this is actually more feasible than it ever has been. Some transit systems used this already, but a moving block signal that works on proper freight and passenger main lines would be incredible, because you no longer have fixed blocks or fixed block sizes. You're just following X distance behind the train in front of you at a minimum. And instead of the train in front of you progresses one block, so you get a yellow signal and you move up one block, and then you wait, and then you get a yellow signal and then you move up one block. You're just okay, so you need to hold at this speed, and this is how far in front of you the next train is. You need to keep that distance.
So basically, it's adaptive cruise control.
It is adaptive cruise control, but for trains, yeah. And this would be a way to massively increase the capacity of single and double track main lines by just being able to cram more trains into a shorter space. And it would also be helpful where trains move at different speeds, because then you would just have your train up front that's doing, X miles per hour, and you know the distance from that, and so you just hang out at that speed as well, instead of having to go and then stop, etc. So, yeah.
Wow, they're all sold out. That's actually sad.
Aw.
Oh, everybody
Scale
buys scale train stuff.
Scale
It's
Trains
always
is all
sold
sold out.
But that's the thing. It would let you have moving. It would let you have moving blocks. It would reduce the need for wayside signals, and basically mean that you have a lot less to maintain out in the middle of nowhere.
So, since it's PTC, you don't really there's really no thing as a dark territory anymore.
Right.
Because if you have this, you don't have to worry about not having signals and.
Yeah, you already know where all the other trains are.
Well, you already do know where all the other trains are, even on with PTC.
I mean,
oh no! Like in dark territory where you're doing warrants and all that stuff. Like the Amtrak collision would have never happened. That hit the CSX train.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Was that Dark Territory?
Hmm?
Was that Dark Territory?
yes.
Yeah.
And the Switch was misaligned.
I mean, you still need to keep track of. I don't think it would have solved that in particular unless they knew that the Switch was misaligned. But
This is true.
But if you're keeping track of your Switch positions, then that can factor in. You don't need to worry about your other line side infrastructure. You don't need to worry about signals. It does. If you can have your switches wired up, you don't need anything else. You just need this. And I wanted, so you can go ahead and cover your last article, and I think that's it. Although I have one thing that I want to point out before we do latest train and Amtrak. So go ahead.
So NS has called off Atlanta Rail transfer project. The Class 1 railroad decisions following the City of Atlanta's filing February 12th of a petition for primary injunction with the STB. I'm guessing PTC, not PTC. PSR calls this.
I think it was a lot of Oh. Whoa. Hold on, no, read some more about this. Federal floodplain requirements, physical destruction, recent research confirms includes a burial site. Basically...
Offer to work with the community to design and build memorial at company's expense to ensure the history of the site is never forgotten. Oh, okay, so this is... Oh.
This is the city pushing back on NS. Because of the history of the site and the burial and the fact that it's on a floodplain, which is also difficult to work with. Basically saying we don't think
the city's
we can...
like, no.
Yeah. The city's saying we don't think you can do this site the way it needs to be done, so you can't have it. Which, I don't know. But I wanted to throw one more thing out there before we wrap up for the evening, and that's this. It's the last thing in the unclaimed news. We saw a lot of accidents, especially out of UP this week. But this takes the cake. Now, the Russians know how to make a train wreck, alright? Now, this might not have been the most flowery and explosive wreck, but man, if it isn't all over the place.
Pretty rough.
Also, check that out. Electrified.
Isn't this from...
A lot of Russia's trains are electrified.
Well, they kind of pushed for it during, World War II, right?
They pushed for it during the
Or
Soviet
right
Union.
before. No, I know, but they were worried the Germans were coming, so they built the line all the way across to the other side of Russia so they could move their manufacturing. Just in case the Germans took over.
Well, they didn't exactly do that all the way. They were building a second Trans-Siberian Railroad under Stalin, though. They did want to move their manufacturing to the east side of the Urals, but not all the way into Siberia. But that
I do want to ride that. Apparently, tickets are extremely cheap, $25 or something.
Oh yeah, no, Trans-Siberian Railway.
Trip?
Russia trip is on my horseman trip list someday. The St. Petersburg Museum is absolutely outstanding, the Railway Museum, and the Trans-Siberian Railway is awesome. And the orchestra is pretty good too. But
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, what happened here? What is this? What have we got for bad segues and stuff like that? Why does TJ have 69 points?
For the meme.
Okay, no, so he has 0 points.
No, he has 69.
No. For the meme. TJ, tell your mom I said hi.
For the meme. For the lulz.
Anyway, alright, so that wraps up the news for this week. We've got the last episode of Season 3 of Locomotive Versus this coming Wednesday, and then we'll be doing a screenshot competition after that. And that's it for, like, administrative stuff. If you want to join our Discord server, the link is in the cargoes. And what does everyone think is the latest train on Amtrak? That is not what I would expect.
Man, you're probably just trying to throw us for a loop, and I think it's the westbound Empire Builder.
Mm-hmm. Westbound Empire
I'm
Builder.
going to say the northbound Eagle.
Northbound Eagle. Is there an Eagle on the road? Okay, no, there's a southbound Eagle, but there's no northbound Eagle.
Okay, that one.
Okay. Achilles?
I'm going to go with southbound train PO91 because East mentioned it was running late. In a note, like before the podcast started.
Oh.
Amtrak 91.
Oh, okay. Huh, okay. And TJ, if he's alive.
He is not.
Okay, well.
I'll pick for TJ.
Okay.
TJ's going to pick the Canadian to Toronto. Specifically.
I guess
the
that
one to Toronto.
I mean, it's not... Okay. Sure.
No, I'm just kidding.
I mean,
Amtrak,
Gonna,
I don't know.
The Canadian... wait.
The one to Toronto is always late.
It is.
But I'm just going to have TJ pick the fucking Zephyr or something.
It is. The Canadian to Toronto is 6 hours and 36 minutes late. So, you know.
Oh, I should have stuck with that one.
Well, to be fair, that's not Amtrak.
But we'll do for TJ we'll do the westbound 5.
Okay. Oh, there are 291s on the system. Interesting. So the Silver Star, the first Silver Star is 7 minutes late, but the next one is 1 hour and 44 minutes late. That's pretty late. That's 91. The Texas Eagle number 21 southbound is 23 minutes late.
Whoa.
23 minutes late.
The one?
And it's
Wait, hold on.
It's currently experiencing a service disruption. The Empire Builder, the westbound, right?
I wouldn't expect this one to be the latest train either.
Yeah. The westbound Empire Builder is on time. The eastbound Empire Builder is about an hour and a half late. Oh, no, sorry, it's about 2 hours late. And the latest train on Amtrak is Lincoln Service number 303 to St. Louis, 3 hours and 10 minutes late at Carlinville, Illinois. It's almost there. It goes from Chicago to St. Louis. I don't know how it ended up 3 hours late. I assume there's some sort of snowstorms or derailments or something in the way.
No, it left Chicago late and then lost another 2 hours. Now that I have the map.
The Texas Eagle has a service disruption. They're on the same line. Something's bad out there.
Oh no, the Eagles due to it not going all the way down to San Antonio, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Why is it not going all the way down to San Antonio?
Snow.
Because bad weather and yeah.
Snow.
Just get over it. It's just some snow, Lamau. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, to be fair, if there was one like vehicle that I would trust through the snow, we had this conversation with the Horseman like a few days ago. Vehicle that I would probably trust through the snow the most would be a train, right?
Yeah.
A train or like probably. A large ship, you know? Through inclement weather. Car I would not trust very much. Plane I would not really trust very much. I mean, they shut down airports for like a dusting, so...
Can confirm.
Yeah. This is why trains aren't obsolete, because when it snows, it'll be fine. Although, you know, it probably won't be snowing anymore in a few years, so... Then trains
Unless
will be obsolete.
you have the Chargers, because the Chargers apparently don't like the snow.
Well, they do have those big open vents on the side, but, you know. I'm sure they'll work those kinks out, given time. They're relatively new engines. Alright, and that's the Terminus podcast, so let's terminate. Achilles?
Just want to point out this stupid-looking crossing. where it's like weird.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull that up so everybody can.
Can I go last? May I go last?
No. Hybrid wigwag crossing. Oh, neat.
Well, I guess I will be going last since TJ's AFK.
Well, that's neat. I don't know why that's a thing, but that's neat. It's Achilles' termination. I don't actually know what I want to say. We were beaten to the punch.
Who beat us to the punch?
Well, There's Your Problem also reported on the guy banging his girlfriend in the rail yard, like last week. So I was like, oh man, I know that article. We were going to talk about that. That was what they opened the show with. It was so good. Of course, they went on about it for a while, because they can't not get distracted. Okay, so, Kevon?
I just want everyone to appreciate this masterpiece.
Oh no, I'm afraid. Oh no, I see Video Game Donkey. Oh boy. I wonder what this could be. Alright, TBA?
You guys want to play some Siege?
I do, but I have to run an errand. So maybe when I get back.
Yes.
Maybe. Depends on what else I have to do. I need to deal with the footage from this, and I know that... You know what? I'm not going to be able to, because this is going to bog down my computer for the next 7 hours while I render the podcast. Oh well, it do be like that. Who pinged me in homework? Or how to find the moment of inertia. It has to do with weighted averaging. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming to the show.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.